Hey, welcome to the series of everything you need to know about Python in simplest possible way. In this learning journey of strings, in our previous videos, we have solved some of the problems effectively using string methods and techniques, right? So in this video, we will solve some more problems so that we can able to understand and use the method that what we have learned previously so that we can apply effectively while solving the problems. So as part of that, in this video, we will first solve this particular repeating characters based on the character position. So what does that mean? Let us go ahead and see and understand the problem and solve the problem. Let's say I am having this particular string which is like here. So based on this particular index positions, we need to print the number of characters. Number of this particular character need to be repeated those many number of times. So let us go ahead and see how we can do that. Let's say I will assign this particular like to string. So after that, what we will be doing is that in order to get this particular index, we will be using a for loop in order to iterate this through this particular string, right? So for that reason, for let's say character in string, so by using this we can able to get the characters, right? So we don't just get the characters, we need to get the indexes also. So for that reason we will be using this range function and using this length. So here what is happening is that by using this len method we can able to get how many number of characters that we have inside of this particular string, which is 4. So by using this range we will be starting this particular range of values from 0 to 3. So in such way we can able to get all of these values, so all of these indexes. So by using that indexes we can able to get the values, right? So that is the idea that is having in here. So now I will just print this in order to make you clear understanding of what we are doing. Here I am printing this particular string with a character here. So if I execute this, you can able to see we are getting all the characters like AE. So this is not what we wanted actually. So the actually what we wanted is that based on this particular position here, we are having this particular position which is 1, right? L is in the first positions and we need to print L for 1 time. I is in the second position, we need to print I 2 times. K is in the third position, we need to print K 3 times. So that is how we need to print. So for that reason, what we need to do, first we need to get the indexes and we need to multiply that particular index with the character. So by using string multiplication we can able to get those many number of characters based on the positions, right? So that is what the idea. So here this character is representing the index, right? So if we directly go with the index, we will get the 0 for I, 1 for 0 for L, 1 for I. So we need to increase by 1 so that L will get 1, I will get 2. So for that reason I am using this particular, adding this particular 1 to character. So after that what I am doing is that I am multiplying this particular whatever result that we are getting, this particular index plus 1, we can able to add that to this particular string. So multiply it to this particular string so that we can able to get the exact result. So now if I execute this, we are getting some character typo here. I will take this and replace in here, and if I execute this we can able to see the result. L is coming 1 time, I is coming 2 times, K is coming 3 times, E is coming 4 times. So I hope you can able to understand how we are getting these particular things. So I will quickly explain one more time. Here using length we are getting the how many number of characters inside of the string. By using this range we will iterate through the number of characters in the string. So that is what we are using here so that we can able to get the indexes. So by using this string we are getting each characters in that particular index. So after that what we are doing is that we are multiplying this particular characters with this particular index plus 1. So with this character plus 1. So that is what we are doing here. So to make you understand clearly, I will mention index here so that you can able to understand more clearly. So index, so by using this index plus 1 we are getting the index is +1, so that is multiplied with this particular character, and we are getting the repeating the characters based on the index position. And if I execute this, you will get the same result. So you are getting same result. So we will take this particular string dynamically from the input. So I am mentioning input. I will ask enter string here, and if I execute this, let's say if I give subscribe here, and if I execute this, we are getting S for 1 time, U is for 2 times, B is for 3 times, like that. Based on the position of the characters in this particular string, we are getting the repeated of the characters. I hope now you can able to clearly understand how we are solving this particular problem using these particular methods and all. So let's go ahead and see one more problem that we have, which is character repetition. So the problem statement is that we will be given this kind of a string, and we need to convert this string like this. So here we are giving A4, which means A need to comes 4 number of times, B3, which means B need to come 3 times. After that we need to have C1, which means C need to come 1 time. So that is what we are getting exactly in here. You can able to observe. So let us go ahead and see how we can solve this particular problem. So I will take the same example above, which is A4, B3 and C1. So later what we need to do is that we need to get this particular indexes and the values. So as like previously, we need to iterate it so that we can able to get the indexes. So based on the indexes, we will get the this particular numbers, and we will multiply that numbers with the previous characters so that we can able to get the exact result. So in order to iterate through this string, I will use a for loop. So I will take index. So we will be iterating through index only. So for index in range, we will be using this range function. So the same thing that what we have seen above, we will be following the similar procedure. So I will mention this particular length of this particular string. So the idea and what we need to do is that each time we need to get these particular characters, these particular numbers only, not the characters. So in order to get that, in this particular range function, we have one of the parameter, which is the step here. So by mentioning the step, we can able to skip some of the steps. So for that, I will mention 0, and I will mention this particular length, and I will mention the skip statement, which is, let's say if I give 2, it will start with A and it will skip this particular 4 and it will go to B, and skip this particular 3 and go to C. So that is not what we wanted. So we need to start with this particular 4 and skip this particular B and go for 3. So for that reason, I will give 1 here so that it will skip all the characters and it will only go through these particular numbers only. That is what I am doing by mentioning this particular 2 and mentioning this particular 1 here. So inside of this, what I will be doing is that I will to make you understand, I will first to print this particular index of this particular string here. So if I execute this, you can able to see we are only getting these particular numbers. So what we need to do is that we need to multiply these numbers with the previous characters. So for 4, the previous character, which is 3. For 3, the previous character, which is B. So with that previous character, we need to multiply this particular value so that we can able to get this kind of a repeated statements, repeated alphabets. So for that reason, what I will be doing is that I will take this string of index. So what I need to do is that I will multiply this particular string of index with this particular string of index. So this particular string of index -1 I need to put, because we are taking the previous value, right? Previous value, which is a character. So here, this is as like a string. So we need to convert this particular string into integer value. So for that reason, I am mentioning an int here. So we are typecasting it, this particular string, to integer. So we are getting the previous character, which is nothing but ABC here. So now if I execute this, you can able to see we can able to get this particular 4 A's, 3 B's and 1 C here. So I will mention an end statement at the end so that we will be getting everything in a single line. So if I execute this, you can able to see we are getting 4 A's, 3 B's and 1 C based on the numbers, based on the integer values that we are having. It was multiplying with the previous characters and we are getting this. So now we will take input dynamically from the user. So I am taking input. I will ask enter string here. So now if I execute this, and what I will be giving is that I will take this particular capital A and give 5 here, which means I need to get this particular capital A 5 times. After that, I will give this particular L. I need to get this particular L, like say 8 times. After that, I will give I here and I will give 3. So ALI. So I need to get A 5 times, L 8 times, I 3 times. And if I give this, you can see the result. We are getting A 5 times and L which is 8 times and I which is 3 times. I hope you can able to understand. So like this, in this way, we can able to print this particular characters based on this particular string that we will be getting. So I hope you can able to understand this logic to generate this kind of a result. So let us go ahead and see one more problem that we have, which is character case conversion. So here we have the sample input, which is A4B3C1. This is same as previous, but here what we are doing is that we are converting this character to the character we are converting this integer value to the character, and we are converting this 3 into capital C. So this is happening through the ASCII encoding. If you don't know about ASCII encoding, watch my previous video about ASCII encoding so that you can able to solve this problem effectively. So how this is happening is that whenever we are getting 1, we need to convert that into capital A. Whenever we are getting 2, we need to convert that into capital B. Whenever we are getting 3, we need to convert into capital C based on the ASCII values. So now what we will be doing is that first we need to know the ASCII value for this particular capital A. So for that reason, I will be taking this ORD, and if I give capital A here, we are getting 65, which means from this 65 only we need to, by using this particular 65, we need to keep track of this alphabets, keep track of these integer values so that we can able to generate these alphabets. So let us go ahead and solve this particular problem. So first we need to have a string, right? So for that reason, I am taking the same string here. So A4, B3 and C1. So after that, what I will be doing is that we will be iterating through this particular string as like above, so that we can able to convert these numbers to convert these numbers to characters. So for that, let's say I will take index in, I will need to use the indexes, right? So for that reason, I am using range, and I need to mention this particular length of this particular string. So after that, what I need to do is that inside of this, I need to mention index here. Index inside of this, what we need to do, when this is a character, whenever we have found this character in the numeric value, we need to convert that numeric value to character, which is by using ASCII encoding. So we will start this particular ASCII value that we need to start with 64, because if we directly give 65, we won't get this particular one. 64 plus 1 which results A, right? So for that reason only I am taking 64. If I directly give 65, 65 plus 1 which results 2, right? So which results B, capital B. So for that reason I am taking 64. After that, inside of this for loop, what we need to do, we need to check the character that what we are getting is integer or alphabet. So for that reason, what I will be doing, if we are getting the character based on the index, right? So for that reason, string of index, by using this, we will be getting the each character inside of the string here. So what I need to check is number. So by using this is number, or let's say I will use is decimal, so that we can able to see that this value is a decimal or not. So if that is true, what we need to do, we need to convert the decimal into characters by using ASCII encoding. So for that reason, I'm using string of index. So what we need to do by using this, we will be getting the, for let's say we are getting 4, and by mentioning this particular string index, we will be getting the 4. So what we need to do, we need to add this particular ASCII value. So ASCII value plus this particular string, so that we can able to convert this particular string into a character, right? That is what we are doing here. So I will print this here so that we can able to print everything else. So later what we are doing in the else, we are simply printing the remaining characters. So which is nothing but string of index, right? So I will be mentioning same thing here. So now if I execute this, we are getting A, and we are getting some problem here, which is int and string is not supported. So previously we are getting this kind of a string index in the character types, right? String type. So we need to convert this into integers type by mentioning this particular int, which is a type casting here. So now if I execute this, we can able to see A65, B67, C65, because we are directly converting this particular ASCII values to integer by mentioning this particular CHR, by mentioning this particular ASCII value by adding. So we need to convert it to characters, right? So for that reason, we need to use this particular CHR method. So now if I execute this, let's say if I am executing this, so here I am having again a trouble, int plus string is not supported. So the reason is because we need to mention this particular CHR for all this particular ASCII values. So here I need to mention. So now if I execute this, you can able to see A, D, B capital C, C small a. So to make this in a single line, I will mention an end here, and here also I will mention an end with a empty string here. If I execute this, you can able to see the result A, D, B, C and C capital A. So I will give, let's say, some more string here. What I'm giving is that I will give A, I will give 14 here, and B, I will give, let's say, 5 here, and C, let's say 2 here. And if I execute this, you can able to see the result. We are getting AD in the capital case, which means that this particular 1 is converted as capital A, this particular 4 is converted as capital D, this particular 5 is converted as capital C, and this particular 2 is converted as capital B. Because this particular method, this particular algorithm or process only considering the single characters, because we are mentioning this particular thing which is decimal only. So because of that reason, we are considering 0 to 9 only. So like that, we are converting this particular input to this particular output based on the ASCII values. I hope you can able to understand this logic to convert this kind of a string into this kind of a string. So I hope you have understood all the problems and how we can solve all these problems using the string methods. And if you found this video interesting, hit the like button. In the next video, we will see and solve some more problems so that we can able to understand the string concepts and methods more clearly. So thank you for watching this video. See you in the next one.